مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير.
الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. I start by thanking Allah. I ask Allah to raise the rank of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, his dear family and his kind companions. Inshallah, today we'll speak briefly about the angels of Allah. And belief in the angels is one of the fundamentals, min ususil Islam, one of the fundamentals of the Islamic Aqida. Min ususi al-Aqidat al-Islamiyah al-Imanu bi malaikatillah. And the word malaika in Arabic is the plural of malak. Malakun is one angel. Malaika is the plural. And in many Arabic nouns, the ta at the end, the ta marbuta at the end would mean that this noun is a female, would mean that this noun is a feminine noun. Now in the case of the angels, it does not mean that they are feminine. For we are told by Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam that angels are neither male or female. They're not men or women. And when they did appear to the prophets, the angel Jibreel alayhi salam appeared to the prophet as a very handsome man. But in reality, he's not a man or a female. He's not a man or a woman. And the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam informed us that the angels are created from light. And no one knows the number of the angels except Allah. Allah Ta'ala said, وَمَا يَعْلَمُ جُنُودَ رَبِّكَ إِلَّا هُ, which means no one knows the number of junud rabbika, and in the tafsir it says that junud rabbika means the angels, except Allah. There are many, more than more than the human beings, more than the jinn, more than the animals. Their numbers are, subhanallah, very, very many. And it's important to have the correct belief in angels. We'll start by mentioning the ayah in Surah Al-Tahrim, لا يعصون الله, and this is in reference to the angels. لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. Angels do not disobey Allah. They always do what they were ordered by Allah to do. And they have many duties. They have many jobs or things that they carry out. In English or in some books, you may find the term God's helpers for angels, and this is not permissible. The angels do not help Allah. Even if the angels did not write the good or the bad deeds, Allah, of course, without a doubt, knows the actions of the creation. Allah always knew, even before the action happened. Allah, the knowledge of Allah encompasses everything, subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the angels were created to worship Allah, and they do service, they do certain duties that Allah does not need. Allah does not need the angels or the prophets or anyone. But these angels have certain duties they do, and this is part of their, this is a reason for their existence. Not for the need of Allah, not because Allah needs them. Allah does not need any of the creation, but rather they are honorable creations, very, very high in rank, not as high as the prophets, but very high, near the high status of the prophets, but not as high as the prophets. And amongst the angels, Angel Jibril alayhi salam, also known as angel Jibra'il, in English they say Gabriel alayhi salam, is the angel known as Malakul Wahi, the angel of revelation, because he was known to come to the majority of prophets with the revelation, with a special message, to show the orders and the prohibitions and the special knowledge that Allah had willed for the prophets to know. And they knew this through the angels, through the angel alayhi salamullah, through the angel Jibril in many cases. Now, Jibril was not the only angel who had contact with the Prophet. Other angels, other than Jibril, there were angels that had contact with the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, and with other prophets. We should know about the angels that they do not disobey Allah. Now, many people I've ran across, they think that the angels do not have a choice, and this is not permissible to believe. Why? The angels are given a choice, but they always choose to obey Allah. And how do we know they always choose to obey Allah? Because this is what the Qur'an teaches us. And they have a choice, and the reason we know that they have a choice is because if they worship Allah without a choice, then they would not be praised. Because if I'll give you an example, if a person is forced at gunpoint to help a person, to help a needy person, like an orphan. If somebody puts a gun to his head and says, you must help this poor person. Now, do we thank that person who is helping, that person who's being forced to help that poor person? Do we say that he's doing something good? He's doing something good, but it's not out of his choice. So he's not praised for that action. But the one who actually, which is not the right way to go about it, but the person would prefer praising the one who forced him to give rather than the one who is giving actually. And so the angels of Allah Ta'ala, they worship Allah. They have a choice. They have a choice between good and evil. But we know from the Qur'an, from the hadith, that always their decision is to choose what's right, to choose the good. And therefore the angels, as mentioned in the Qur'an, لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. They do what Allah Ta'ala ordered them to do. And they do not disobey Allah. Now, before the creation of Adam alayhi salam, there was an angel, there was a jinn, his name was Azazil. And he was amongst the angels. He was a creation made out of fire, not made out of nur, out of light. And he was with the company of the angels, and he worshipped Allah for many hundreds of years. And Azazil became a kafir, and he's who we know as Iblis, or the Shaitan, or Abu Murrah. He's known as Abu Murrah because he had a daughter named Murrah. Iblis, the Shaitan, has a wife. Just like Adam alayhi salam has a wife who is Hawa radiallahu anha. Iblis alayhi la'natullah, his wife is known as Murrah. And she's known as Murrah because they had a daughter, a female jinn, which is known as Murrah. And there are many jinn, and most of them are disbelievers. And there are jinn that are very pious, awliya, very pious Muslims amongst the jinn, and also good Muslims and bad and disobedient Muslims amongst the jinn. But what I'm getting to is that the angels never disobey Allah, and it's not proper, it's not permissible to believe that that the shaitan, that the devil, known as Lucifer in English, was a fallen angel. That's what they say. That's what's said about him by many Christians, by the Christians, as far as I know. And this is not permissible to believe. the Shaitan alayhi la'natullah was a Muslim, he was a believer, he was amongst the angels, he was with the angels and he worshipped Allah. But when Adam was created and the angels were ordered to bow down, not in worship but in respect for the honor of Prophet Adam alayhi salam, the Jinn, the Shaitan, Iblis alayhi la'natullah, he rejected. He said, I'm better than him. And inshallah we'll continue in another session. Walhamdulillahi wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.